genetically modified organisms. Now that I've got your attention, most of you have never heard of this term and may not know what it relates to, although you have more than likely consumed them today. GMO, or genetically modified organism, relates to crop seeds and other processed foods that are modified through their DNA structure to produce bigger, better, fuller, and reliable cash crops. There are many forms of these organisms that will be discussed during this speech. Those listening will have a better understanding of what these organisms are, why companies have altered them, where they are found, and the health, benefits, and risks of consuming these products. So exactly what are these GMOs and what are their purpose? Well, imagine you are a farmer that relies on your cash crops to feed your family, and a simple weed or bug ruins it all. Or people in an area that are unable to grow a consistent crop due to the topography or geography where they are located. These ideas resulted in a company called Monsanto that modified various seeds and processes to ensure lessened risk for farmers. According to Monsanto.com, since 2008, we made a commitment to sustainable agriculture through the combination of advanced plant breeding and biotechnology. Through altering DNA in these plants and products, companies like Monsanto have created seeds that produce herbicides when grown, so certain weeds don't interfere with production. In other cases, a lot of commercial companies like Hershey's, Heinz, Coca-Cola, and other huge food producers put these organisms in ingredients to preserve their products and make them look more healthy and colorful for their consumers. Now that we have discussed why and how these organisms are made, we can move on to where these foods are found. So we put a factual estimate out there. By the FDA, GMOs are in 80% of all processed foods. Seeds for crops and animals, such as fish, cows, and pigs that America consumes. For instance, Florida is a huge producer of oranges, which these companies like Monsanto have developed orange tree seeds that produce bigger, more juicy, and faster growing oranges. The same idea is behind Georgia and peaches, Nebraska and corn, Washington and apples, and etc. This idea has flooded the commercial market for almost anything processed, like meats, cereals, snack foods, cheese, herbs, spices, and any other food you could possibly think of. It's rather quite shocking the degree in which our foods are tied into being genetically modified. In 2006, the United States Department of Energy estimated 353 million acres of crop in 22 countries. In the United States, high fructose corn syrup is an artificial sweetener made from GMO corn that is an ingredient in almost all processed foods, like the Pop-Tart. It is in the ingredients. Right there, I circled it. Simply put, if you look at the ingredients on anything you eat, you see high fructose corn syrup, consider it containing a GMO. It is difficult to get an accurate reading on how many foods are genetically modified because there is no law that requires them to be labeled as such. Although if something is organic without any GMOs, it is labeled as organic. Like this. This says non-GMO project verified. So that's non-GMO. After going over some foods, I will now go over some health benefits and risks as stated by Monsanto and other quoted companies. The reason for inventing such organisms is not only to profit nor more convenient, but also many health factors as well. A prime example is using GMOs to get vaccinations and important vitamins into food that a lot of third world countries couldn't grow. Wholesome Goodness Productions golden rice was modified with vitamin A that helps prevent blindness for children in poorer countries, or peaches and apples that provide immunizations for disease. Monsanto.com states that GMOs benefit our use of natural resources pertaining to global economy. For instance, yielding more cotton for clothes or linen, and corn for fuel. Other benefits include the ability for crops to grow in acidic soil or better withstand drought conditions. Also, the increased availability of crops provides significant economic gains in developing countries. A pledge for Monsanto is to help hunger in rural areas, helping farmers get the most from their land, growing food that is abundant and safe. Now, as for the risks, which are as plentiful as the benefits. A lot of studies coming out of the European Union suggest that the GMOs have led to tumors in lab-tested rats, as well as ovarian cancer in females, and liver testicular cancer in males. Also, of the rats tested, almost all the females were unable to create offspring by the third generation. Many GMO seeds contain the insecticide Roundup. This chemical is good because it creates a plant that is not susceptible to weed problems. But the same plant can also produce super weeds that are immune to most all insecticides. Tests have concluded that people consuming GMO corn and other plants have excreted Roundup in their urine, as well as in fish and animal excrement. Most of the lab results come out of the European Union, who is the only country testing GMOs for the complete longevity of a rat's life. In conclusion, this speech has specifically explained what exactly genetically modified organisms are, their purpose, what type of food they're in, and most important, the benefits and risks that come from them. I hope this speech has helped given you a little more knowledge than you previously knew, and helped with knowledge and the ins and outs of GMOs. Thank you.